So I've got everything ready to go, and just double check that the screens are okay on the carb. Just blow in them. If you can blow through them, that's great. They're not clogged. And now we're ready to go. So first of all, the spring with the cap here goes like that. Do not put it in here. Many people do that. As a matter of fact, this tank here, whoever did the job on it before put the spring in the wrong place, because you can see that it's worn in a pattern that shows the spring was under here. So I hope the diaphragm's still good. If not, I'll replace it. To put the carburetor back on, first of all, make sure the spring is in the right position like this. Then insert the diaphragm over this screen here and over the second one over here. Put the rod through the hole and clip it in the plastic part here for the choke like that. Now grab the fuel tank, insert the first screen, make sure that the spring goes into the hole here nice and straight. You don't want that in there crooked. And then bring it down like that. Now you want to make sure that all the holes are lined up with the diaphragm evenly. So what you want to do is tighten them up evenly. Don't tighten one down right away. Just snug them all first. Now once you've got them all snug, just go around each screw and tighten it up. Now that you've got the carb back on, make sure that the clip is in the plastic. Make sure it didn't come off by itself. Make sure that the pin is still in the clip here. And now put the cover back on here. Now before I put the carb back on, I'm going to turn out the screws 2 turns and then adjust it once I've got it running. Before you put your carburetor back on, make sure that the oil in the motor has no water in it. The reason for that is if there's water in your crankcase, it floats on top of the oil and then it spews out water droplets from here and into the carburetor. Especially when the motor gets hot, the water in the engine is actually going to steam and send that steam into the carburetor. So even though you've cleaned the carburetor, it may run good at first, but as soon as you start it up, it's going to get water again and it's not going to run good again. So just double check that, because this was a problem in this engine. I had to replace the oil because it had water in it. I put HD30 oil in there. You can use 10W30 or 5W30, but for the summertime it's better if you use a heavy oil like HD30. Before you put the carb back on, make sure that this manifold here is tight. Sometimes the bolts inside get loose. Now what you want to do, the very first thing, is to grab the linkage over here, just the small arm, and you want to insert it into the hole right here from the top. So you have to do it with the tank a bit sideways. Insert it in like that and come up again, and you can see that it's in the hole there. Now insert the tank on the manifold and just push. Want to make sure that this little manifold here is on as well. Now you can put this bolt here. It's the smaller bolt. And the last bolt to put on has the spacer that goes in here. So just put it in there. Don't over tighten the tank because it can strip the threads easily. Make sure nothing's cracked around the fuel tank. And the last thing to put on is our throttle cable. Now once you've got it back together, if you move the choke and it goes back, that's the way it should be. That means that it's working. Once the motor runs, it should stay up. So if you're going to start it without the filter, make sure that this bolt is in, because your machine just won't run right. So I'm ready to try it out. I got some fuel in there. I'll start it up and adjust the carburetor. everything runs good. What I did is I readjusted the carburetor. If you find it hard to start when the motor's cold, just turn out the screw a quarter turn out, and that should make it easier to start. Just do that if you have a problem starting it. And it's also the same on lawnmowers. This is on the rototiller, but the old lawnmowers have the same carburetor, and you would use the same procedures to clean that as well. Thanks for watching, and we'll